that quick pick off. So I prefer this one move draft to what they had in game number 1. I just feel like Team Spirit, you've given them a lot of their signatures already.
Yeah, which is going to be a big concern for them. So we'll see what one move we're able to do. Like we said, Spirit 1 game away of booking the ticket to the Bali Major. And for one move, with a loss here, they would be forced into potential tiebreak relegation with Hydra. That could be a 3-way tiebreaker as well, depending on some other results as well. But yeah, definite tiebreaker will be going on with a loss in this series of one move. So their fate is in their hands. It all starts with this game. First, a word to EGB.
You want me? Come get
Prepare for battle.
Oh, this makes it all worthwhile. You took the bait.
All right, Oracle. I once again
Oracle's
turn
banned.
to you. No. Denog is not banned. Denog the Oracle. Not banned. Quick look at the EGB odds again. No surprise about it favoring Team Spirit.
Yeah.
Maybe for you could help people's channel points. Their predictions. Where we leaning this one? You said you did you like this one move draft over their previous one. Do you like it enough though to favor them versus what Spirit have?
I'm just going through it lane by lane, right? I feel like the Slark Veno should be a fine lane against this dual melee. Well, probably a really good one. The downside to that is that the Slark and the Veno don't really clear creeps out very well, so you might hit some earlier level timings on the Darkseer and Spirit Breaker and get a kill off the back of that they're not quite expecting. Mid lane, I'm preferring the Quap over the Bat Rider, and the off lane, it really is just going to come down to Maposhka and how quick he is on the fingers with the Sinister Gaze. So I think they've got all the tools to be able to have a really solid start to this game on one move. My question just comes with how are they going to be able to close it out? And you know what? Screw it. We're going to a game 3.
First blood?
What, just because you just saw that first blood?
No, because Spirit have gone to a game 3 in every single series up until now.
Okay. So the trend will continue. Alex says, and first blood will definitely help out. Looks like it's going to be 2 for 2 in regards to the bounties as well. So, I mean, I think let's go through. I mean, you mentioned what you feel like the lanes are going to be able to shape up as actually top lane. This is going to be an action-filled lane. I mean, Yes. This is not a farm fest.
Like, there's going to be action everywhere. Probably more so the side lanes. Mid lane's much more about Lyle just living and getting any sort of experience off the back of this quite rough lane. But yeah, top side especially. I'm having a constant look at like who has the level advantage right now. We were talking about... Oh, actually, Clips onto Collapse there. Still, just level 1. They don't have that extra little burst of damage to be able to counter this one out. But, I mean, Veno against 2 melee, Slark against 2 melee, you're very happy with that. The sort of lane that I want to see Panto like get his level 2, but then, you know, spend the rest of his time harassing. Doesn't want to let the you want to enable Mukushi as much as possible. He's got the pounce available. Might be able to get another kill up here. Collapse is almost out of
oh, that bash.
17%. And he missed out on like 2 pre-blast hits while that was all happening because this pull was allowed to happen. And now you do get your level 2 probably on Collapse and Mirror. So you don't need to just rely on the bash anymore. You'll have to charge through too.
See how the action's going to continue up top, more bottom lane. The level 2s like we were speaking about. She still hasn't put a level into anything else just yet, so holding out extra skill point for the moment. Looks like also just touching on mid lane. Looks like Law's having a pretty good time as well. And 6 compared to the 7 and 3. The matchup is playable. Definitely going to be how you're able to... It's a lot of individual if you're able to and outperform the opposition. Looks like Law definitely doing that at the moment.
It really is one of the lanes where you want to be
for it.
Has to be a little careful. Oh, nice.
Okay, nicely done.
Yeah, he's by Maposhka.
Dissipate.
And meanwhile, on the opposite side of that, we got some kills. Collapse. Able to get Pantomime under the tower. Munkushi's okay, though, with everything used. Not enough mana for Collapse nor Mirror to be able to continue to play aggressive, but a kill is going to be nice for them. Gives Collapse almost enough gold for the ring health. He's got it.
He does. I'm a little surprised that he was so quick to use the Ion Shell. He actually doesn't have any mana to be able to play around with, so Munkushi, he quickly joins, would probably have been able to get a kill onto him. But he just... It doesn't give him over the Lotus just yet, but Tango to be able to play around with. Yeah, he used the next Ion Shell before he was level 3, so still had the lesser effectiveness out of it. Really thought they could have potentially made a bit more of an aggressive move onto the Slark.
No coin for you.
Perhaps still doing a fairly good job on this top lane, though. Top of the net worth. Not really being harassed as much as I was expecting, and of course that kill that he was able to claim for Panto. Might be in a little bit of trouble here, though.
Looks like he'll be in a lot of trouble. No, still going to go down. Now Mirror as well. Job's able to escape. This gives him a lot of time to be able to work on the lane now. Munkushi is going to be able to get solo experience. See Pantomime instantly leaving him alone. Probably we might look for a half pull from the Venomancer. Not going to look for a full pull.
Maposhka nearly got that sinister gaze that we were talking about on the bottom side. It was just some game in beta magic that made sure that the Timber Saw still got away with the Timber Chain. But they're making the right sort of plays to be able to make the best out of these relatively rough lanes, I gotta say. Spirit Breaker, he's come back to the top lane, full HP, full mana. Just wondering, Collapse might be extending himself a little bit too far. Every little bit of like bonus gold that you get off the back of things like career kills are going to be so valuable. No Blood Grenade to be able to play around with anymore. No Venomous Gale. Actually leveled up to 2, which I don't hate. Oh, it triples the damage that it does off the back of just 1 additional point into it, which seems real value this game. Look how aggressive Collapse is playing. No Ion Shell onto Mirror either, so they can't really go for this dive underneath the tower.
I guess one thing with the Spirit Breaker, like the Spirit Breaker Darkseid lane, it means that you're never going to get stacks inside the jungle, which would be really nice for Lol. Looks like he's actually made his own. He's got a quad stack, I think, inside the jungle. So, I mean, that's huge for Lol, considering his 19 and 6 compared to the 26 and 15. So, at least he's been able to increase his own net worth, but that was really the concern I wanted to highlight, that this is a very different game where we saw Spirit in game 1, like both Mirror and Maposhka putting a lot of emphasis on stacks, but at least top lane in particular, Mirror is going to have a lot of difficulties with doing that.
Yeah. Also see Maposhka's helping out a little bit with some small stacks here and there. Able to maybe get a kill onto the techies, but well, he's actually even going to keep the illusion rune there and available for Anchorat. Techi's made a few stacks of his own. You gotta say though, like I was expecting these lanes to probably go a little bit better than they have for one move. You know, Pop still top of the net worth for the cause, and Bat still at the bottom, but he's made it work, right? This is the answer that I always have. You know, what do you do if it's a rough lane? You don't lane. You make it work somehow else. Either, you know, cut the lane from behind, you build up stacks for yourself, you pull the wave, do something, and Lyle's done exactly that. So he's keeping up. He's actually ahead in terms of experience compared to the Quap.
Is Cookie going in? Oh, okay. First
I mean, look, the timing he does it too.
No way. No.
10 seconds.
Oh, and I don't believe he got scouted out. Great pathing as well, so I'm sure they have a good idea, but they don't have confirmation, so no one's going to TP for that. Probably going to be double Wisdom Rune goes the way of Spirit.
Yep.
Yogi's actually topped. Should be able to get some kills with him. Mirror wants to charge in. The final one of Pantomime's still pretty strong with the Iron Shell. As Lotus in 6 charges, but doesn't get either of them off. And meanwhile, I didn't...
Level 6.
Radiant are scanning.
He died to a neutral creep. I was thinking he might have TP'd back, but just wanting to keep that TP available for the lane, I suppose. Just got enough for the cornucopia as well. Sending it out to himself. Taking a little bit more of a scenic route. Seems Just not wanting to walk it through any sort of vision that one move might have looked to set up. How much emphasis they're putting on this mid lane. In a really deep observer ward. They're trying to get a kill onto the top though.
Oh, now aim grab for the long range Sonic Wave. Beautifully done. Gilgit in a great position. He's able to give enough time for the jump away, and then Aincrad still close enough to get the turnaround. They're able to get the D ward as well, along with securing the rune for Aincrad.
Is under attack.
He's not even done just yet, wanting to continue to poke Maposhka. Of course, Mirror's nearby to offer some assistance, but 4 points in the dagger, that's a lot of damage. Maposhka falling incredibly low, already wants to go back to base.
A lot of damage and it's a lot of sustain, more important. You know, like, you are able to go for these deeper dives, even at this super early point of the game, just off the back of that maxed out Shadow Strike, and it's not going to come back to bite you. That's what I love about the new Aghanims. You know, he hasn't got a single point in the Scream of Pain. Aincrad's job this game is very simple. Just make sure that the Bat Rider does not have that really good start. He doesn't have the ability to stop Afterlife from just playing what is a pretty decent Timbersaw game, right? All it really needs to be concerned about is the Bat Rider and the Juggernaut.
3,000 net worth lead at 9 minutes in. It's not that one move we're hoping for. They might even be able to get the kill into Collapse top lane.
Radiant's middle tower
Answers on the mark from Munkushi. Collapse actually wanted to try and stand his ground and fire with vacuum back into the wall. Should be able to chase down. Now they want to go for Munkushi as well, with Mira showing up. It's a little bit more difficult of a task with the Shadow Dance at the ready. Now they're going to be cautious though. To wrap around starting to occur from Gilgit, but it looks like Raptor's Core is going to scout him out.
Rune's level 6 as well, off the back of that, well, the Stolen Wisdom rune, right? Helps out.
Maposhka too.
No one really that can defend this bottom tower though. Maposhka is playing around mid a little bit more, realizing that that's where Aincrad still wants to stay for the next little bit of time. He's got the Witchblade coming out to him as well, so even more slows to be able to counter out what this Spirit Breaker and Bat Rider are able to do.
Across mid lane, Maposhka.
Mid lane.
Two more mirrors in a little bit of trouble. Spirit Breaker's going to be a 1-for-1. They'd love to get the Essence stack over to Munkushi. Looks like they'll enable that. Meanwhile, Aincrad was also able to assassinate the secondary support on Spirit. Now with the double damage rune and the catapult, this tower, it's going to go down even if they glyph it, I believe. Bottom lane, they're trying to set up on after. Oh, lol, just a little bit too late with the flame break. That would have been a huge kill if they could slow down this Timbers game.
Radiant's middle
He's just going to go into the Windlace now after this for that little bit of extra value from the movement speed. Try and chase down this Timbersaw, and they did still pop that glyph in the mid lane, but Aincrad once again just soaking up a lot of the damage. Will he die off the back of this? They've got the...
Oh.
How did he get flipped off? I thought Ral was on point.
They'll go for the lasso this time onto Gil. He's... Oh, yikers. Maposhka's waiting ready. Chainfrost still on cooldown though, which is really the ultimate they need to turn this around. As
Radiant's middle tower.
Okay. He just walked into the Firefly.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Honestly, I heard a bomb go off as soon as he died, so I don't know how. I thought he died to his own mines, but...
No, he stood in Firefly for 5 seconds.
That'll do it to you. What is this? Max out? Yeah, max out 5. A 2-on-4 build.
Just 400 damage.
Oh, I mean, honestly, that's a pretty big kill. 285 gold to Bat Rider, considering how rough of a lane Lyle's had, and his movement so far hasn't been able to connect. So you'll take any little injection of gold you can get at the moment.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, this is just going to be another one of those games where they're like, yeah, throw, try and do it for us, but I mean, they don't exactly have the greatest heroes to be able to kill, honestly, any of these cores, right? Like the Bat Rider, yes, for the Timbersaw, but it's going to be quite a while until he's able to get to that stage. Afterlife, he's had a pretty decent start to the game. He's going almost that full-on damage build as well from the offlane, considering he's been able to be kept solo for quite some time. So still going to be in a good spot in terms of levels. They're trying to bait that bounty rune with Aincrad. Just try and find
it's a
that
big kill if they can get it.
I don't think they will. I think they might be happy enough with Maposhka, but I'm not sure if they're even going to get that.
Torres pushing pretty aggressively. They're going to glyph the creep to try and secure where the boots of travel in. Mirror's got the ultimate to work with as well. Gilgit is at the ready though. Gets the cancel out. The Omnislash now bouncing around with the damage. It's minimal at best. Yatora now forced to TP out along with Mirror. They'll both survive, but Lyle's game continuing to be rougher and rougher. Meanwhile, Makushi's free farming top, shoving Collapse out of the lane.
A little careful, was staying a bit close to some of these, but of course he's a Slark. He's got that Shadow Dance available. He'll know the charge is on him until Shadow Dance kicks back in. Yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting, right? Like even the Juggernaut, if Yato has an amazing game, what is he going to do against Shadow Dance, Depth Shroud, Quap just blinking away from you? Timbersaw, if he's able to get into that BP estate where he goes probably a Lotus Orb after this Tyrant's Arch. It's like a pretty rough one for him to have to be able to play around with, and maybe it's going to rely on Collapse to be able to land those big vac walls in the middle of these team fights just to hold them in place. All right, can I call like a really late game Aghanim Scepter on Maposhka with a 5-man vac wall into the 5-man Sinister Gaze, into a Chain Frost, into an Omni Slash?
Is he going to be able to get that farm though? That's a lot of farm on Maposhka.
I have faith.
You have faith? Alright, well.
The only sticker I've ever purchased.
The only sticker. Oh, there you go. 6k net worth lead's going to do that justice for EGB. Odds well and truly now in their favor. I really would like to see Spirit now trying to play with Collapse. The top of the net worth hero. He is their strongest hero at this stage of the game. Vanguard, Mech, very close to Greaves, but really it's just the max out Iron Shell. That's a ridiculous amount of damage that they haven't been utilizing inside these previous skirmishes. So I mean, now with Yatora having Battle Fury, he's going to be left on an island. You're not going to look to rotate to him. Allow him just to continue farm, puts pressure on some other side lanes, just to force one move to address that instead of maybe trying to hunt Yatora.
And I feel like you do need to make the most out of this timing on the Darkseer because of what I was talking about before with the Timbersaw, right? He's actually going for a Yule Scepter, so another way to be able to get an offensive Dispel off. Not the Lotus Orb we were expecting. It's still fine, but because the Timber's gone this sort of build, there's no pipe, there's no mech, there's no even a Glimmer Cape. The most that they've got in terms of like damage reduction is a Pavis on... well, actually, you got a mech on Gilgear, never mind, but still, a lot of that other stuff isn't quite there, so you're able to get really big value out of these things like that maxed out Iron Shell that you were talking about.
Bottom lane, lol. Push the tier 2 tower, is going to try and play around with the lasso. It's not going to be enough though. Still Gilgear is going to be in some trouble with the better supports from Team Spirit, but they might just fear their own life away. There's Afterlife and Aincrab, they've got plenty of damage to still continue on the chase. Over to the west side, they go, Maposhka, take a spill. This game is really starting to get out of control.
Under attack.
It is, and I mean, Collapse even drops the wall of replica up top just because Munkushi made an aggressive attempt onto him. It becomes a whole lot more difficult now that you've got a level 12 Slark with that Diffusal Blade picked up as well, just consistently going for these chase downs. They've already got plenty of movement speed slows. Just Diffusal Blade on top of that really limits the impact of this Batrider.
Maybe?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
A little bit too late. Mirror's still going to try and continue with the charge. This is a couple times now, though, Danog. We saw, to bring it up again, that first rotation we got out of Lyle with the boot travel bottom, where he just missed on the flame break to cancel off the chain away, and just then as well with the vacuum. Those were really the only two opportunities they ever had to be able to kill the Timber. And with them slipping away, that's a big reason why Afterlife is top of the net worth and getting to a stage where he's almost unkillable. I mean, Lotus Orb, he's very difficult to bring down.
Yeah. I'm glad that he went away from that Yule Scepter. Like, I don't think you're all that concerned about the aggressive dispels this game. Like, yes, it's good to be able to get rid of Surge and the Bulldoze and the Frost Shield, but I don't really think that a Quap or a Timbersaw really care about the majority of that stuff. They're just going to be able to continuously run at you because of this good start that they've had. So it's more about just enabling yourself to live that's going to be the higher priority.
Do you think an Aincrad, or is this a little bit too deep? Maybe they'll go for Gilgear instead. So that's been a step now for Spirit. You know, after that one kill onto the Venomancer, they started to play very aggressively, sweeping to the jungle, dropping 2 wards down to help get a secondary kill. Very nicely done for them. So when they play from behind, they understand they do have a bit of a timing, bit of a strength to work with. That also helps them get the tier 1 tower as well.
I mean, they're going to be praying that Munkushi doesn't go back inside of his own jungle to farm, because look at all of those observer wards. Like, 1 is being dealt with right now, 2 are being dealt with just, yep, off the back of this gigantic... yeah, that's what the voice line's about. The gigantic sentry range, that's one of my favorite ones to place. And they're even going to get a 3rd eventually if he ever does decide to come towards this mid lane, but you don't really need to. You know, you've already taken the mid tier 1 tower, just keep playing around the side lanes. If you find a pick off, maybe it's enough to get... it's not exactly the best Roche lineup, but, you know, Munkushi can certainly look to push out those side lanes very effectively off the back of a single pick.
Well, now with those wards dying though, right? Like, someone has to die on Spirit for them to farm. There were 2 really freshly placed wards, and
you don't want it to be collapse.
You really don't want it to be collapse. So let's see if the Greave's going to be enough. Helps out with some of the damage, but it will not matter. There's just way too much coming out from the 4 heroes nearby. Now your Toro as well is going to be in some trouble with Afterlife stepping around, but a Blade Fury TP up. Okay.
Radiant are scanning.
He's lucky that no one had beat up to that tier 2 tower previously. Otherwise, it would have been removed before it. I mean, even just with the slows, not able to get this this stack off, where he's looking to make use out of that Battle Fury. Rishi just continuing to scale, continuing to excel, even without that Battle Fury. He's getting a lot of his farm off of hero kills with that Aghanim Scepter picked up, going into the Echo Saber next. He just wants to play around the rest of his team for now. Really just is like where you can get the farm on the map, and you've got, well, decent heroes at being able to find those sorts of pickoffs, right? You are going up against a Spirit Breaker charging in, you are going up against a Bat Rider who almost has Octarine, so Lal isn't doing horribly in terms of like the items that he's picking up, but I just feel like what they have isn't necessarily the best toolkit to be able to deal with the one-move cores. Supports, they're dealable, but it doesn't take much for a Veno to be able to have that high impact in a team fight. You basically just need to Gale and ult and you've done your job. Looking to find any pick up that they can though. But might just give another SCN stack over.
This is all a collapse. A pretty decent vacuum back in the chain cross. Not going to be able to bounce around, but the lasso is there. Well, this one will reflect it, but it's not going to matter. Ankrad's able to get away. The solo Omni Slash helps them get the kill onto 1, but it's a heavy committal from Spirit. And just to get the techies, he's not going to feel great.
They have used absolutely everything. Lasso, Chain Frost, Omni Slash, Wall, and with the Spirit Breaker going down previously, there really isn't anything stopping them from just pushing into this mid lane. They've even got a Siege Creep to be able to play with. I think that was a regen rune that Ankrad was able to get as well. Like they needed any more luck to be able to play around with, and well, now that he's got that Scream of Pain maxed out, next item up for him, that Aghanim Scepter. Could probably even afford to go a little bit separate here. Like if Ankrad wanted to push in bottom just to get 2 lanes under the same sort of pressure, they probably could, but instead they're backing off, wanting to get a quick pick off here onto Lal. Gear was just a little bit too early with his TP, so it meant that it took a little bit longer.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean, did the net worth decrease? Like, it feels like it was gone between 8 and 9k, and now it's 7 to 8k that one move have as an advantage. So pretty rare that, you know, you lose a team fight for all intents and purposes, and it still goes back towards your way, just because they weren't actually able to convert anything on them. They were forced to make their defensive movements back. Artura could just spin TP. He's looking to try and take some of that farm away and not play out on the lanes.
Yeah, the tier 1 tower they got mid lane, and those 2 pickoffs dropped the net worth lead, and then ever since then they've kind of kept up. Like it was, I think it dropped it by like 2k. So I'm still lowering though. Like they're doing a very good job, and I honestly thought for them to be in this position they had to continue feeding a couple of kills away, but they're not even losing that many lives to still be neck and neck with the gold at the moment.
I'll pick off the back of this smoke though, this full-on wrap around. I like it. They get a sense that this is where Lyle has been playing. It's just going to be Maposhka that gets picked off though, as Lyle has the space to be able to TP away. You would assume he's going to be able to. That's still a tier 2 bot though.
Structures are fortified.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at least it's a kill into a tier 2, but they're the sacrificial deaths that you need to see out of the supports. Beautifully done. You know, pop in the smoke. Lao's able to react accordingly. Meanwhile, top tower's probably going to go down. Mira gets a little bit of farm, so he's almost got Shadow Blade. So really, Radiant are doing everything they need. Like, Lao's even trying to cut mid as well, but what needs to be...
It is 5k.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I think they
actually hold that thought. Lao.
Not sure if you kill Gigachad.
Yeah, no, you don't. The status resistance out of the Kyron Sunch misses lasso barely lasts, and now Munkushi leaps on from downtown. It still will drop the wall, but there's going to be no value that comes out of it. Aincrad's not even done just yet. Try and target down some of the support. Munkushi's ready to go. Is this a bit too deep, though? A charge buy from Mira. Hoshka, I don't think there's anything they're going to be able to do to save it. It's a pretty decent chain cross, though. How did yeah.
They gotta just push into this tier 2 tower. Like, Gilgear might be dying here off the back of this.
Got rid of the sticky though, that's important. Mira's gonna be forced to commit now. Yatoro is coming on over as well. Let's see what the Juggernaut's gonna be able to provide them for Spirit. Collapses up in 10 seconds. I'll defend it by the looks of it.
It is. I mean, this is what I really feel one move need to get out of this. You know, they need to make sure that they at least, at the very minimum, get the glyph popped here. Because then if another team fight goes their way, they can push into that bottom side with no real downside to it, right? Like, yes, you always need to be worried about the Flaming Lasso drag back into base, but I feel like the net worth lead is enough that that's not necessarily going to be as much of a factor. What I don't want to see one move do is actually go for Roshan, because so many times we see people go for Rosh, and especially if they're way too far ahead, but it oftentimes just gives the enemy team a chance to be able to put the lanes into a much better spot for themselves so that you don't actually get immediate use out of it, and it actually would give Team Spirit a time to, for example, get Lyle into his BKB or get the Spirit Breaker into, well, he's actually already got the Shadow Blade, so mini timing has come through from Team Spirit right now off the back of this. Gives him the Ion Shell. They want to try and find a pick-off isolated away from the rest of the team. Love to get Aincrad with that 6-kill streak, but a lot of the vision protecting them for now. And some good mines placed down too by techies.
Smoke pops. Great position from Pantomime. Still a pretty good charge with the Glimmer Cape. It's a pretty good kill if they can get the Venomancer before some spells are casted. Might not get any bigger fish to fry though.
Still got that axe on the quad though. Passed it on to every single one of them in that fight, so ton of damage pretty consistently.
Ushka! Oh my lord.
They're doing a good job of running away. I mean, Jug pushes top, Mira pushes bottom, yoinks away a few of these Lotuses. Nah, there's no damage being done to the bottom tier 1. I was thinking maybe you can at least put a little bit of threat onto that, but yeah, for mine, it just feels like they're not recognizing the potential that they have to be able to take this tier 2 mid and go for a lot more of these pickoffs. It's just so much faster to be able to move across the map if you don't have to walk around a tower a lot of the time. They see Aincrad sitting on his own underneath this observer ward in the mid lane, maybe just a false sense of security for him because he's got that that high ground ward for himself, but he's also got a shield rune to be able to play with.
Smear gets lucky with a bash.
So, alright, if one move get this harpoon on the slot and they get the nullifier, both totally fine, right? There's tons of value with being able to pull up.
Candle to Pantomime with the lasso back, Chain Frost even used, so no hesitation. And now Mira's been able to isolate Gilgear as well if they want to try and go for the techies, but the rest of the team's on the retreat. Mira's got no boys to play with, and yeah, it's going to be a 1-for-1.
Does make space though. Yatoro, despite everything that's happened this game, still has not died a single time. Hasn't been involved in too many kills, but no deaths for the man, and he just spin TP out every single time because of all the space being made. Doesn't even go all the way back to base. Wants to be as close as possible to the action so that he can just get back onto the map and farm. He's got the butterfly to be able to play around with as well. So what I was saying was Munkushi, Harpoon, great. Nullifier, great. I'm going to need to see a Basher after that because, you know, it's reaching the point where the Jug's been TPing away, cannot be allowed to happen anymore. You've got double leaps, you've got Harpoon to be able to catch up to him. You've got to be able to convert with the actual kill. might be considering Roche. So with Timbersaw, they'll be able to take it reasonably fast. But again, this is the thing I was talking about, right? What will Team Spirit get in the meantime while you're spending all this time taking Roshan? Grouping up together on Team Spirit, potentially to defend this tower, maybe expecting that a movement will come towards where their Tormentor is, because it's just before that 28-minute mark. Freak Wave right pushed in as well. While having to be a little bit careful, could have been stepping underneath the cliff vision, but I think with the amount of time that they've spent off the map, they know that Roshan's happening, and it's just a matter of, well, let's get the farm while we can.
Cloud.
I'm really wanting Rakushi to play super aggressive though. I mean, he's even got the Depth Shroud too, to be able to play around with, so, you know, could look to bait out an Omni Slash onto someone, he leaps in, drops that onto the Omni target, and then immediately look to break it.
Dire are scanning.
I guess the one thing for OneMove is their high ground push is pretty weak. That's
it's all
one
about
thing.
getting the pick off first.
Yes,
that's really
yes, without a doubt.
What I was going to be able to remove the Observer Ward at least. That's the reasoning behind the Basher as well, right? Like, you want to make sure that you're securing that kill. Another TP comes back as Yatoro, once again, I mean, as long as they keep revealing that they don't have any of this actual lockdown for the Juggernaut, it's a sacrificial kill from Mira.
Well, that's a big one though. A Hex on Afterlife. So maybe that could be the initial stun into the follow-up. Yatoro looking to try and waste as much time as he possibly can.
Told there'd be a mushroom cloud.
That yours honestly threw me off for a second. I don't know if you saw that, but that worried me. I thought they got him. They should be able to get the lanes in now. Bottom finally in. Mid's in a great position as well. We already see someone trying to address top in Ankrad. And they're sweeping through. Munkushi, this is a great ward as well. It's going to scout out Collapse. Remember, Poshka's up here as well.
Ooh.
See him? What do they do?
Dodge this, Collapse? Okay.
Poor Collapse being forced to drop the ward just to maybe help with the retreat. He's lost for such a long time. So job has been done. Meanwhile, but Poshka cuts top lane as well. This has been the past 10 minutes, maybe even longer, of gameplay for Spirit. So I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon unless a crazy fight breaks out where they get a couple of pickoffs on one move and can go high ground.
Well, no, because they know that they've got much bigger timings coming, right? Like, you still need to make sure that you... wait, what's... Okay, Tim is not going into the Ags just yet. But Batrider nearly has... Flick Dagger actually does. So if they look to make a push now, maybe Team Spirit are going to change tact. Maybe they're going to say, you know what, let's not reveal the Batrider on the map. Let's let them take out Tier 2 tower and then get a pull back inside the base onto a key target, blow them up, because our lockdown is actually pretty decent. You know, we've got Lasso, we've got Vacuum, we've got Sinister Gaze, we've got Spirit Breaker and everything that he provides. And a Juggernaut that is still keeping up in net worth.
I don't know how he's doing it. 2-0-2. Victoria is an absolute baller. You want to learn your farming patterns. She's the man to watch.
Value your life. That's all it is. Understand what the enemy team has against you. Has to be careful though, and you see that time around he's much more proactive about the spin TP away because he recognized that the Cypher Vice was available. Just anticipating that Afterlife wasn't quite in the position to be able to get the jump in onto him. But here we go, 4-man smoke. Quack not involved in it, putting a lot more priority into shoving in that bottom lane. You just see Team Spirit go to the exact opposite side of the map. Not wanting to give them any freebies. The lane's not in a great space for them to be able to make any sort of pushes happen. And they ping out in the mid lane. They saw that the Dark Pact was used to be able to shove in that lane.
Oh, Smoke's gonna pop. They've got the high ground ward. Let's see the jump from Lowen, who wants to prioritize. Gonna try and find the lasso. A bit too far away though. Afterlife's gonna be able to react in time. Awkward now. Don't have that ward to play with on Team Spirit. Damage room for Ankrad as well. Afterlife is gonna be the first one to jump. They've got the lasso. Cover up with the Ice Fire as well. Let's see if they can have a big wave. Ankrad, what is that damage? One team fight, and that's all they needed. One move, slice and dice. Juggernaut's gone. Lyle's gonna try and TP out, but the Yules is there to stop him short. Oh my lord, they've been invading fight after fight for the past 20 minutes.
Predict the damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Like 11k?
No, I did 8k, but it's still plenty. You know, you hit a 5-man Sonic Wave into his Shadow Strike exploding onto everyone, plus the Scream of Pain on top of everything else, with a Ceremonial Robe, with a Kyron Sange, and I mean, that's what they needed to be able to blow this game wide open. Not popping the glyph on that tier 2 tower, they still have it for this high ground push, but you gotta say, without the Bat Rider available for that lasso back into base, without the Juggernaut there, to be able to pop the Omni Slash for the kill, they could just stay up on this high ground. They've still got 10 seconds left of Aegis. Absolutely no danger. Meant to have to play around. Afterlife could maybe consider going into an Aghanim Shard for himself, just to be able to assist with the push. Doesn't want anything to be able to delay the Aghanim Scepter for himself instead. Not wanting to overstay their welcome. Again, whenever you're playing up against a Bat Rider, just don't give him an opportunity to be able to lasso you right back into the base.
What a drop off.
Is under attack.
That is, we're saying like one fight is really all they need on one move. Fortunately, the death timers weren't even that long though. All they get is a T3 tower, but the net worth lead is really blown out of control. Got some big items out to work with.
They did not get the nullifier, I guess, on Slark. So they've gone into that. Timbersaw wanting to go the Ags. I mean, that's going to be a very important thing for Yatoro to be able to dispel once it's picked up. Just does so much damage and provides him so much sustain in these fights. To me, it still is a story of who can they kill. Because you saw how much effort they tried to put into that that Timbersaw, and it barely tickled it. You know, they popped everything.
Big boy. Big boy Half-Life, 3100. Oh, they got to go through Titan's Sliver as well. It's really the big one.
Slark's the most kill.
Once again, it's going to start up to collapse. They need the Darkseid to be able to cast some spells on the Surge. Able to get some separation. They're going to be able to repair some of the damage thanks to the healing water as well. So Spirit, they'll stand strong. Not an easy fight though. Mine's getting laid down. Ward's getting laid down. How is La going to be able to find the opening for the lasso drag back?
Shadow Strikes from afar as well, just keeping these lanes pushed away. Plus side, of course, is that you did get out the Noxious Plague from the Venomancer. No ultimates used on Team Spirit.
I guess it's a worthwhile trade, though. They got the Wisdom Rune on one move, so I'd say you're probably pretty happy with the Plague used for that.
Mm-hmm. Got a Revenant's Brooch coming out for the Quap. I guess just wanting some damage to be able to go through the Frost Shield.
He's huge, man.
Yet. I was thinking maybe a Scythe of Ice, you know, when I saw the Mystic Staff in the quick buy for Anchoret, but man knows best. Not going to complain about it. 10-0 and 9 Quap, yeah.
Oh, it's not only him that's flawless. You mentioned the Timber before. Slark's also flawless as well. The cause of die. Yet to die this game. 7 deaths on the Venom, 6 deaths on the Techies. All worthwhile sacrifices.
That's alright.
Hex to start. Nice search.
It's rough, that's all I can say.
I bet. I don't even know what else to say over rough. It's... What's the probability? That'll do it. 20%? Really?
I'm finding that hard to believe. I mean, I feel like as long as you don't, like, dive in completely brainlessly on Slark or Quap, it's almost impossible to lose this game.
This is... They saw the Queen of Pain bottom. A bit of an opening. Oh, what a timing, though. Smoke popped and the ward dropped down, so instantly he's going to go through the rift to be able to join the boys. And what could have been a window for a 4-on-5 now means we've got a 5-on-5 for this second Roche.
Pretty quick respawn as well. Well, actually, no, never mind. It's pretty long, but the 40 seconds left on it. Looking at
that's Rebel's Roche in the card. Yeah. Well, they're going to try and bring down Afterlife. Load is applied and yeah, he's unkillable now. Roach passed on by as well, so they get neither.
I'm just going to be watching Afterlife's HP when he pops the reactive armor. Like it's insane. He is going to be the one first in every single time. You might be able to get a quick CC onto him, but they've got enough people to be able to support him from the back lines. Parvis, Solar Crest, Glimmer Cape, the mech on the techies. He's got a greater healing lotus that he can just feed over to someone else. Put Afterlife on the front, let him get off the reactive armor and let him explode on everyone.
They're going to give it up though.
Dire's middle tower is
Executive
under
call
attack.
to allow one move to get the second Roche for free. You know, like I said, push out the lanes, continue to find their farm. It's probably going to be enough gold for Yatora to get the Aghanim Scepter. But let's see if this Roche is going to be enough for them to go up high ground. So, I mean, we did speak about that. Dire have some difficulties with doing that, but being fed with second life
Roshan has fallen to
make it a bit easier.
Mortality.
Gets them some neutral items. They take away the Wisdom Rune. They take away the Tier 1 tower. Have to be a little careful now, especially with the Basher.
There's the bash. And Yatora is going to try and TP out away.
Butterfly.
Mirror's charged by him. Also knocked him away, and yeah, like you said, the butterfly evasion. I didn't see, and Mirror. What? No. Was that the yours? I think it was. No.
He was used while he was running. That was so weird.
Yeah, I let's see.
I don't know what happened. Like, Techies used Yules, but he was running while he was used. I saw the debuff on him.
Yeah, I don't know if the BKB expired and it still had like 0.1 second left on the Yules.
Maybe.
Well, so at least Yatora lives. That's the big thing. Again, sacrificial death, Yatori's out.
Dire are
But
scanning.
now there's just zero map to play with. Bottom shoved in, mid shoved in. You already see Mukushi.
He's switched flashing waves just to be able to push him away.
And you got him. Lars going to try and play around with the BKB to get some separation. Elbow Pounce is now off the mark.
Even uses the ninja gear for that little bit of extra speed to be able to get away. We'll be able to. Wonder if he even sticks around just to try and shove in that next wave. Gotta play really ballsy at this point. Has enough money for buyback if worse comes to worse for Lyle. And he knows that One Move want to be playing with this Aegis. They want to be getting the most value out of it as possible. As soon as the Slark especially reveals a way. Look at Lyle. Look at how cheeky he's being. Just quick Firefly with the ninja gear being used. Won't kill the entire wave, but at least it'll allow the creep wave to naturally push it in and force perhaps a defensive movement coming out of them.
What a frustrating
way back.
You know how annoying these games are to play? And the team's just... this has been the third... 25 minutes of split push. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Just one team fight, that's all we got. One Move bodied that team. It wasn't even close, and then they're like, ah, yeah. We back to split push we go.
Yeah, we're not strong yet, guys. We know, but, you know, we can be strong too.
Wait, say that again?
They're strong, but we can be strong too.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I mean, Lyle has enough to be able to buy the Ags if he wants. Of course, would provide that little bit of extra lockdown. Ooh, has to be careful with the positioning. One of the shortest blinks of the Blink Dagger I've ever seen as he tries to go for the run. Such a scary place to be in, and yeah, I prefer this much more actually compared to the Ags. I want that instant hex, that Scythe of Ice to be able to find. I mean, who could you even use it on? Like, Quap has Kyra and Sanj, and she has the Lincoln Sphere.
BKB, he's still probably gonna die. Yatora just slash used. So you want to play a bit around with the Omni Slash now. A little bit of cage. Kushi wants to try and bounce into the middle. X is at the ready as well. They're going to be able to precast it for start to get some separation, but Afterlife, he's charging him forward. There's no hesitation with a 4 on 5. They're ready to go for the finishing blow. Oh, just a switch slash. Okay. Immoral.
This has been so frustrating for one move. They're like, we've done everything perfectly. Why can't we just hit their high ground? That's just because Spirit aren't giving anything up for free.
He got silenced. For you, Toad. Still going to be able to react in time. It's a pretty aggressive blink in from Aincrad, but nothing they can do to penalize. And we can see the damage, though. A couple of those slashes from Yatoro. Down to 2/3 for the Slark to play with. They're really just trying to poke and do their best they can to act big and shove one move out of the base, and they've done a job. Do you have Mira back alive now?
Got to be careful with some of these couriers. They've just gone over a couple of Venom Plague Wards. Darkseer has the Scythe of Ice picked up. That Rider went for the Aghanim Scepter instead, so if they can find that initial jump with the Scythe of Ice, maybe force someone to TP in response, then that's that Blink Lasso into the Omni Slash, into the back wall Chain Frost. They need the perfect wombo combo right now on Team Spirit.
Oh, lol. Jumped on the lane, but they were sitting on the high ground. Unable to pop the BKB in time.
Doesn't even need to.
It's actually going to be the one to jump in. They spy on Collapse.
Oh, that was a Lotus.
Maybe the chain is tearing them apart. They forced up even closer as well. Multiple BKBs expended just to help the retreat. Thanks to the Lotus Chain Frost Aincrad. Oof, Mira. We're going to continue. Yeah, these Lotuses have been devastating some of the fights we actually have seen. Bounce backs to just the lasso.
Completely prevents the lasso, prevents the Omni Slash, prevents the Spirit Breaker. Saw the Chain Frost getting a buyback out of Maposhka that time. Does mean that the Aegis expires, and I guess Lal can look to remove some of these proximity mines if he knew they were there. Also got a great Observer Ward on that high ground there, scouting out every little bit of movement. They're just wanting to perhaps protect that Tormentor as much as possible. Have they got many Aghanim shards left to be able to claim? I mean, Jug, Bat, Darkseer, all 3 cores. You almost have to wonder, is this worth it? They make the jump now. It's the first time that they've been able to find you outside of the base, but they actually get a little bit of a slow themselves with the surge buff. The Yatoro hitting level 25, and it was all about that perfect Omni Slash still at the end of the day.
That's what they've been waiting for. Wardrop as well, but the supports are still alive for the moment. Finally going to go down, but Aincrad up to the high ground just pumps in the damage. They're still going to be cautious on this Slash though. Queen of Plane jumps out of the south, but Yatoro hasn't been able to lock onto his target. Mira's going to try and do whatever she can. This is the fight we've been waiting for Spirit. Yatoro once again with a swift shot back to wipe it off. Pops the cheese, ready to go back in, but the Queen of Pain is not in fighting shape. It's just Afterlife against the 2. We're still going to be cautious though, with the Blade Fury still at the ready. We'll use it defensively now. 3 for 3. It looked disastrous though with the start they got. But I mean, this Queen of Pain, she's able to freely spellcast in fight. She's just doing so much damage.
It was a really quick depth shroud coming through from the Slark to be able to interrupt the majority of that lasso as well. He got a quick swift slash through, but there wasn't that follow-up damage coming off after the fact, and they even killed Collapse a split second before he's able to get off that magic wand and a pipe. Maybe would have been able to survive long enough to, get an additional surge up to provide Juggernaut the movement speed that he needed. But I mean, yeah, we just saw Munkushi. He's not unkillable. That's his 7 kill streak being given away. Still deathless on the Timber and the Quap, but we're really seeing the value out of these Scythes of Ice. Talk about the effectiveness of the Basher as well. Yatoro, he's gone into one of his own. Might need to eat the Moon Shard just to be able to have it. Oh,
okay.
What are you doing?
Blessing.
Not a blessing, yep.
Oil the joints, sharpen the blade.
It's probability. No way. I don't believe it's 35.
They know a TI winner is playing, bro.
That's just crazy. 35? Alright. Dude, there's a Lincoln on the Veno. Alright, Pantomime. Or maybe this will help a little bit with their sieging. Still, they're not... I mean, you can't do it now without the Aegis. But we've seen what the Lotus has been able to do. Potentially the Lincolns prove to be even better inside some of these team fights. We got a sense of the power, though, that Spirit we're able to provide if they can perfectly spellcast. It'll be perfect, though.
It's gotten to the point where, you know, you've level 20 now on the Venom, so an extra 1.5% on the Noxious Plague is actually quite a lot. You know, 7.5% HP every second. Most of the time, you think these long fights are going to benefit the Juggernaut and the Batrider just off the back of the healing ward and stuff like that, but...
Oh, Afterlife?
More. Thank you, boy.
The Lincoln's activated. They're gonna get the last one again! The Lotus Orb's out, so unable to drag them back. An aggressive jump in from Aincrad. The wall's going to get laid down. It's looking really awkward for Spirit, though. What's the call? Fight or retreat? You stand here for the potential last fight. Mirror wants to charge in. Nice. Mukushi avoids the Hex as well with the Dark Pack. I don't know if they can fight now. Lasso wall down. It's a call, though. Up to you, Toro.
They just don't want to give up Roshan for free. They know it's coming up in the next little bit.
Mirror. A good charge in the two. Vacuum Bolt as well. Yutora shreds apart one. Turns to Gilgi next as well. Those supports down and out of the count. They're going to have a buyback. The other one to the Slack as well. This time the only Slack. Yutora is doing it. Bouncing back and forth. Critting through the members of one move. He needs to address Aincrad though. Maybe that's where the Bash is able to come into play. Yutora against the world. They're going to try and buy back, but it might be too late. The damage has been dealt. Aincrad beyond God, like 16, 0, and 13. This man is unstoppable at this stage.
13,000 damage done in a single team fight by the Quap. Yeah, just a cheeky 13 blinks used in the one fight, just a 12 Shadow Strikes used in the one fight, 2 uses out of the Scythe of Vice. I mean, we can't really underestimate what Timber did as well, 10k just off the back of his reactive armor plus everything else, and I mean, that is even with the perfect use of the Nullifier coming through from Yatura. He instantly used it onto the Timber Saw as soon as he had that reactive armor pop so that he wouldn't have that extra survivability, but it still wasn't enough. I was thinking maybe Lyle was going to go outside the base to be able to pick up the bounty rune just to enable Yatura to respawn, but doesn't seem like they'll be able to do it, and Anchorite, he's hitting into the base.
Are you going to go for this?
Go for me.
Dude, these Lotus Orbs have just been breaking the fights for Spirit. It's just one they've got, right? Is it? No, they've got 2 actually. Gilgi and Afterlife. Okay.
And the Lincoln on the Venom.
That's true. That's true. Lincolns as well, but I just from what we're seeing, this is multiple fights now. We've seen this last year just completely have 0 value thanks to Lotus, and enable the Quap to continue to reign supreme so high up in the net worth, and level 30 as well for Aincrad. This is just what a crazy Queen of Pain performance.
He's already eaten the eggs. Give this one over to just give it to Venno. Sure. Yoink. Not a bad latent toxicity game either for Panto. I mean, if you have that spin TP, if you have that BKB to be able to get to quote-unquote safety on the Batrider. Do they have any Lotus Orbs yet on Spirit? Seems like it.
Surely you just put Shard right on Panto. Would that not have addressed your Jug issue for like the majority of this game?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's got such a small cast range though that now the Jug's got switch like
collapse. Oh my lord, Glimmercade, they didn't have the vision down fast enough. Mukushi was able to react with the ultimate.
Everyone's hit by Noxious and Poison Nova too.
Okay.
Get out of it ASAP. Can Lyle find that pick off?
Finally, without the Lotus Orb, they've been able to get the drag back with the depth shot. Stops his spell casting into it. It's going to be able to jump Gilgi thanks to the Nullify, but it's not going to matter because Aincrad just puts his body on the line. 4,200 health. They've got to go through for the Queen of Pain. They won't even try it. So Lasso, wall used. Here comes the siege.
Comes the siege with no creeps, unfortunately. So after life, going to be burning that flamethrower. Not too much added value, of course. Bench making it a little bit more challenging as well. Go for that big dive in on Mira.
From the base. Oh.
Kinda have to at this point. You gotta burn it. Fortunate that there's no real great use of the planar pocket for them this game. Anything that's gonna hit on one is gonna hit on everyone. Pretty much the only value is like for a Yule Scepter, which I'm probably using on for the Spirit Breaker anyway. Maybe the Scythe of Vice, maybe the Harpoon as well.
Radiant's middle barracks
Harpoon towards them instead, but they still hold. 28% win prop, by the way.
No way. This is something that's broken. I don't know. I refuse to believe it's 28%. So, for Spirit, I don't know if we've seen it too much, but it's very difficult to coordinate because it's like a split-second jump from low. We haven't really seen like a lasso with the surge though. He's not getting enough distance away. Miposhka can never really put himself in a position where he can force stuff the Bat Rider as well. So maybe just have to pre-cast the surge.
Maybe. Even Mukushi, he's wanting to get into this MKB before he even goes an Abyssal Blade, realizing how much of an issue Juggernaut's providing them.
Oh my lord. Activation goes there, so no Frost Shield.
Radiant structures are fortified.
One of the better. Gonna pop the fortification, just wanting to keep this ground advantage for as long as they can. Got the lasso available again. Let's see if Mark can find it.
What? Again, the lack of detection. Mukushi reacts with the ultimate, counters away, but now it forces Mira to put himself in the front line. Put the BKB to work. He's going to be able to play accordingly.
There's so much space.
Rain Crab? He's in for the finishing blow. Poshka doesn't have the damage over the lasso.
First death.
That's what they've been waiting for. First death of the game, and now Yutoro senses aside. Weakness, they're going to be cautious because the buyback comes out instantly. Yutoro can he retreat? Can he reposition? Get back to the safety of their base. It's a bit of a window now. There's a win condition. You kill Anchor at a second time. Game might start to get interesting with a jump in. Mukushi got to be cautious with the bash into the Abyssal. Mukushi's gone. Yutoro will turn Ankrad next, but they're not going to have the control. Bash reaction out of the blink, but still Mukushi's in fighting shape. Same with Ankrad. Hex is there. Can they keep Yutoro alive? He doesn't have a buyback. And with that, their hopes of taking this series in games should be done and dusted. They're still going to make one more attempt, but really been Yutoro with all that damage inside these fights.
Anytime you've got that lasso back into the tier 4 towers, I know he's doing a lot of good damage. Poor Mira just fought back. I need to just wait for this last tower. You can't fight around where they're looking to set up with the minefield, with all those plague wards, with the vision as well. Somehow hold for the next minute. Not sure if going for this tier 4 push is the best idea. Afterlife, he's the one putting himself on the front lines. Wanting them to die, they're begging them.
This time with the surge, can we get this inside the base though? What's going to be laid down? A lot of damage on him. She's going to be enough to secure the kill the Olin. Oh, Slug gets out. Skin and bones will stay alive. Meanwhile, Miposhka, I mean, he's going to buy back at least, and not the worst. 30 seconds, but towers are falling.
No, lasso is the more important thing. That's the only initiation that they had. Someone needs to put their life on the line.
What? Just a constant spam. Dagger after dagger, scream after scream. Ankrad take our freaking bow. What a Queen of Pain performance. Completely put the team on his back. 19-1 and 15 out of the Queen of Pain. It was a long, grueling game 2, but finally one move